Welcome to the first class in several that will talk about the laws of Chanukah. This class is going to discuss lighting the Chanukah candles, and we'll just assume, to keep this easy, we're talking about lighting inside of your home, such as on your kitchen table or another table for people lighting in the house. We're going to talk about the blessings and the lighting and how to do all of those apertures that apply to the menorah itself. So let's first of all start with number one. The mitzvah of lighting the Chanukah candles started in the days of the Maccabees. The actual year of the mitzvah of Chanukah was 164 BCE, and it was, of course, on the 25th day of Kislev, when the Maccabees were able to purge the temple of the idolatry placed there by the Seleucids, and a cooperation between the Seleucids and Hellenistic Jews, and they purified the temple, and they were only able to find one jar of oil that was sealed with the seal of the high priest. He was able to hide a pure jar of oil, and they were able to light for 8 days. So we have a number of blessings associated with commemorating this miracle, which is to light the Chanukah candles. So the first night of Chanukah has the most number of blessings. So when you're getting ready to light the candles, you're number one going to have 2 candles available, and you'll take your menorah, and on the far right hand side you will place 1 candle, and then in the middle or some other place slightly higher or removed from the regular line of other candles, you'll have the shamash candle, which is the one which is meant to service the other ones to light them. So before you light the candles, you'll recite 3 blessings. You should have the shamash already lit in order to light other candles. So on the first night there are going to be 3 blessings, and then there is going to be only 2 on all the other nights. So the first blessing you say when you're about to light the candle is the blessing of Lahadlik Ner Chanukah or Lahadlik Ner Shel Chanukah. There are different customs about that. The second, and that is to get ready to light the Chanukah candle, but don't light it yet. The second blessing before you light is She'asa Nisim La'avosenu Bayamim Ha'hem Bazaman Hazeh. So part of the process of Chanukah is acknowledging that it was a great miracle that happened to our ancestors in those days, and we recall it now as well. So Chanukah has the mitzvah of lighting the candles, but also important is recalling the events of that time period, which is redeeming us and saving us and delivering our independence from the Seleucid Greeks and the Hellenistic Jews who sought to turn us toward idolatry. On the very first day, we also add the blessing of Shehechianu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazaman hazeh. For every recurring festival, we make this blessing, that we thank Hashem for keeping us alive and for protecting us and for providing for us to reach this very day. It is not recited on any other days, only Ner Chanukah or Ner Shel Chanukah, and for She'asa Nisim La'avosenu Bayamim Ha'hem Ba'azman Hazeh on every other night. Most people say that you should light all of the candles before going ahead say all the blessings before lighting any of the candles. You should say all 3 of them. Some people have the custom to say Ner Chanukah and then light the candles, so follow your family's custom. If you have lit the candles and you forgot to recite Shehechianu before lighting the candles, you can say it within the half an hour after lighting. If you forgot to say it within that time frame, you may say it on the second night. If you forgot to say any of the blessings while they're still lit within that first half an hour, you can go ahead and repeat any of the blessings. That's on the first night. So let's talk about how to light the candles. The main practice of most people is that on the first night you light the most right-hand candle. So you're looking at the menorah and it's all the way to your right. On the second night, you will then light the candle that is next to the one farthest on the right. That will be the new one, and you will light that one first, and then you will follow by the candle all the way to the right. You continue to add candles to the left, and then you light the new one, and then move from left to right. That is the common custom for people to light. And so therefore, after you complete the blessings, you light the candle all the way to the left, and then go ahead and move all the way to the right. There's also a paragraph that many people recite while lighting the candles, and many people recite it while they're in the midst of lighting it. One should start lighting candles while they go ahead and recite that paragraph, and that little prayer is inside of the Siddur after the blessings. Every night we light an extra candle. We that way we say the mitzvah is much more special for us. And people should make an extra effort to always light one candle for every night. Even though the minimum requirement is only to have one candle for every household, we should still try to go ahead and light one candle for every night. And not only that, but for every person in the household, each one should have their own menorah to light, one candle for every night. If you did miss lighting one night, the day itself causes you to light the number of candles. So even though we're saying it's only a nice thing to add more candles, you light the proper number of candles equal to the night of Chanukah. So if it's the 5th day of Chanukah, you light 5 candles. And let's say you don't have enough candles on one night. Let's say you didn't have enough. So if you only had enough for one night, okay, and you don't have enough for the rest of the nights, then you should only light one candle and not light additional candles. And that way you can spread it out. What you can also do, that would be if you just have candles. If you have oil, you have to make sure you have enough oil to light for at least a half an hour. However, you are not required to have that same amount for all the other candles. So if you don't have enough oil on any other night, you could add that less than half an hour oil to all of the other oil candles, and make sure you have enough oil to last half an hour within one candle. So we're saying half an hour. So there is a required amount of length of time for the candles to remain lit. So they should burn for at least a half an hour. Okay, and that's even though nowadays when people are out much later, we still follow the same rule of the Talmud that they should be out for about half an hour. Additional candles that we just mentioned don't have to burn for the full half an hour. A couple of the rules is you're not allowed to sit and read by the light of the candles or do any work next to them. And some people actually take a break while the candles are lit and don't do any work during that time. You can walk by them and enjoy them, but you do not use them to, let's say, look at something on yourself or read something on that. So we mentioned that everyone in the house should light the Chanukah candles. That's because both men and women are included in this mitzvah because it's considered a miracle. Everyone benefited from the miracle. So in the main way in which we practice nowadays is to have everybody in the household light their own candles. That includes men, women, and children. The only thing is that everyone would have the main person who has to light is whoever is the head of the household. But children who are under the age of bar and bat mitzvah cannot light on behalf of anybody else in the house. And we will stop here, and we'll talk more about the laws of Chanukah in coming classes.